Arne Slot has taken over from Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. There are solid foundations for a title push, but also areas to address, including finishing, defensive midfield, and head-to-head battles against their rivals. The Arne Slot era is underway, but what does the Dutchman need to do at Liverpool this season to challenge for the Premier League crown in his debut campaign? Jurgen Klopp signed off his 8-year reign with a trophy and Champions League qualification. Here's how Slot can build on that foundation to capitalize on his predecessor's legacy. Get off to a flyer, and then stay at Man City and Arsenal's levels. Liverpool took their title push well into April last season, and while that ultimately tailed off, there is no doubt Klopp has left the club in a good place. Slot takes over Klopp's Liverpool 2.0 on a firm footing. A third-place finish and a Carabao Cup win demonstrated the quality of the young talent coming through at the club and can be a launchpad. But there is no escaping the fact Slot is going to face off against two hugely powerful opponents in Arsenal and Manchester City. PSV produced a near-perfect campaign in the Eredivisie to pull away from Slot's Feyenoord, but those are the standards he will have to get used to in the Premier League. In recent years, there has been no margin for error in England's top flight, and Slot will need to hit the ground running at the start of next season if he is to lead Liverpool into another title race next term. Liverpool have the easiest opponents in their opening 6 games, edge the key head-to-heads. Liverpool were undefeated against champions Man City last season and held Arsenal to a point at Anfield. But scoring wins over the top 2 could be a decisive factor come the final standings. City's relentless nature in the second half of the season made up for their defeat at Arsenal, but for Liverpool, the psychological boost of victory in these massive head-to-heads would be huge. It was March 2022 when they last beat Arsenal in the league. October 2022 when they last took maximum points off City. The trip to Arsenal on Matchweek 9 is a huge early test for Slot, but also a huge opportunity. A chance to land a statement result to inspire the players, authenticate his management, and put doubts into the minds of their title rivals. Secure futures of key men. Liverpool's chances of reaching those levels of City and Arsenal would be boosted if Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, and Trent Alexander-Arnold find top form. But those Liverpool superstars, who have each been crucial figures in the Klopp era, are out of contract next summer. While it might be down to Chief Executive of Football, Michael Edwards, and new sporting director Richard Hughes to work out the nitty-gritty of the contract details, dealing with the futures of 3 key men in the Liverpool squad is a priority for Slot. It might seem unthinkable for Liverpool fans to lose any of that trio, but that is the issue Slot must have a say on. Salah, 32, could once again be subject to a big bid from Saudi Arabia. After his recent drop-off in form, could now be the time to cash in on the Egyptian. Van Dijk turned 33 this summer, and after the Netherlands' exit from the Euros, the Liverpool captain said he would think carefully about his club and international future. What would a renewal for him look like? Ultimately, Slot's main role in this would be to convince these star players that the future is bright with him in charge, and it is worth signing up for the journey. Even if, in the case of Salah and Van Dijk, that might be on reduced terms to what they're currently on. Solve the striking problem. Perhaps the biggest fix Slot could make to this Liverpool side is in the final third. Their finishing last season held them back badly. Darwin Núñez is the usual scapegoat on this topic, and there is no escaping the fact he had the worst big chance conversion rate of forwards who had at least 10 clear-cut chances last term. He missed 27 of his 33 big openings. How does Slot get more out of Liverpool's 85 million investment? But with Salah, 6th, and Luis Diaz, 12th, also ranking high for big chances missed last season, there is a wider finishing problem at Liverpool. Liverpool had the highest expected goals, XG total, in the Premier League last season, but underperformed that figure, having scored 86 rather than their anticipated 89.3. In contrast, Arsenal and Man City both scored 14 goals more than their XG figures suggested they should have. Their cutting edge made a big difference. Sign a top defensive midfielder Liverpool are still yet to make a signing since Slot's arrival. And while we've already discussed ways they can improve with their current group, It feels as though defensive midfield is an area they need to address in the transfer market. Wataru Endo and Alexis Mac Allister shared duties in the holding role last season, but with Slot often using a double pivot in that area of the park, and questions over whether Endo is a long-term solution for Liverpool, a recruit is required. That would free up Mac Allister to play in a no-10 role more akin to what he had at Brighton, but perhaps also give Liverpool's defense some more security. They did, after all, fall 1-0 behind in 23 matches last season. Galvanize the Liverpool fans. Perhaps Slot's most important task, and the most intangible, is to galvanize the Liverpool fans in a similar way to how Klopp did. Slot cannot copy Klopp, and no one would expect him to. The connection between the German and the Kop was a special and unique one. But in this time of transition, Slot will need to convince the supporter base that the path he is taking the club down is the right one to deliver success. There will be bumps in the road, undoubtedly, and Slot and his players will need the Liverpool fans and that famous Anfield atmosphere at their backs to reach where they want to be. Significant signings, big-name contract extensions, and a goal-heavy fast start would help those fans believe Liverpool can kick on and challenge for top honors under Slot and have them singing his name just as Klopp implored them to.